Hey everybody, welcome to Houdini Hangout. My name's Peter. I'm the host of this stream, and thanks for being here today. We're here about halfway through August. I can't believe it's already that far through the year, but here we are. And hey there, everybody in chat. Fizz, welcome. I know we might have a couple new folks around today because we have a guest that so kindly gave some of his time to come and have some chats and talk about some things. Hello, 4K. So today we have Paul Esteves with us, and we are going to be talking about a few different things. One thing that we're going to talk about is going to be some of his maybe playing around with some Copernicus stuff that he had done and bringing that over into Karma and how that works. So we'll kind of have a little bit of back and forth on that. But he also has some questions that people have asked him over the last months or so, and just that he's going to bring here, and we'll have some chat about it and see what we can get up to. So I guess without any further ado, let's get Paul in here and we'll start talking a little bit here. Hey, Paul, how's it going?
Hey, Peter. It's going good.
Great. Thank you
Thanks
so
for having
much
me on.
for. Yeah, of course. Thanks so much for taking the time to be here. I know everybody's time is precious, so I really appreciate it, and we should be able to get some fun stuff going here. So maybe give just a quick overview maybe of yourself. Like what mainly do you do? Maybe like where can people find you online, that type of a thing, just so if they're interested, they can find some of your stuff. We'll maybe plug that at the end as well, but just give a little background of yourself maybe real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Paul Esteves. I am a 3D designer, artist person. I'm freelance at different studios doing a lot of advertising type work, as many of us do. I use Houdini primarily, pretty much only these days. And was I supposed to say something else?
Oh no, that's good.
My
Just yeah, where can they find you online if they're curious after the fact?
So all my handles are Paul Esteves 28 because Paul Esteves was taken, and so I just added a random number at the end, and 28 is now my number.
I
So
did
that's
notice
where you
that.
can
That's
find me.
awesome.
Well, it's cool because then I could get it for all the platforms. So Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, like they all
Nice.
had Paul Esteves 28. So I was sorted.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And I personally always love when you do your different node videos because they're always something just kind of crazy and out there. I love all the little GIFs and things like that you're doing there. So if anybody hasn't seen those, which I'm surprised if people haven't at this point, but go check those out. They're always a lot of fun. And Paul makes learning about nodes more fun. So I always appreciate that.
No, thank you. It's been a while since I've done those. Maybe with the new Houdini version, we will
Yeah.
see. It'll ramp up in some of those.
Yeah, maybe we'll get some new ones for sure. Some people are saying that your shirt neck isn't as big of a V as they might expect as normal.
I'm growing old. I'm growing older and becoming more mature. I'm.
Does your shirt go up with maturity? Is that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's fantastic. Hello, everybody in the chat. I'm seeing a lot of people saying hi in there. Nice to have you there. Too much chest hair for us to handle. So Paul, you and I were talking a little bit the other day, and you said that you had a few different kind of things that like topics that you wanted to maybe talk about just at the beginning of it, and just things that people have asked you. So yeah, maybe you could pick one, and we could start from there and kind of talk about some of that stuff that you were mentioning.
Yeah, so somebody asked a question which I thought was quite interesting, and it would be cool if there was a whole bunch of people on here to find out how people do it. Is how do you categorize your not like how do you save hip files and vex snippets and different things like that, so that when you need it in a future project, you can find it easily, because not all of us can just internalize all the vex stuff. There's certain people that are watching now that just seem to retain knowledge at a extraordinary rate. I'm not one of those people. So for me, the way that I have how I've done it up until now is if I'm engaged with a hip file. So if I'm on a Discord and we're talking about something and someone posts a hip file as a solution, I save it and I screenshot the viewport with the same hip file name. So I have a folder with a lot of those. And I'm quite specific, especially now with the hip files that I save, that I had some involvement in it. Otherwise, you just get a whole bunch of hip files and you have no idea what's actually going on. You never use them because you never had any like personal involvement. So I don't go browsing, the side effects forums or Oddforce, just like sculpting all the hip files possible. But I do find that saving some that were super key as I'm learning things is useful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm curious to know,
Yeah,
Peter, how
that's
you deal
interesting.
with it.
Somebody in the chat says now you have a whole bunch of hip screenshots. How do you filter those?
Well, I mean, screenshots are super easy to see, right? Like, so you can scroll and you can see like the thumbnails a lot more easily than you can like opening a hip file and then you look and you see and you have to wait for it to load. And then it's like, okay, this isn't the one, close it. The next one, what is this one? Whereas you can easily scroll through, 100 previews and it looks super good.
True.
And it's super easy to find them. And I like to put like, if it's a Vellum hip file, I have Vellum and then the name of the hip file, or flip the name of the hip file. And then I'll often have like SOP. And so if it's like a SOP level, like modeling thing or something where it's not a simulation based, so that if I know, oh, I'm looking for that Vellum file, I know I can go to the V section and I'm going to find all of them. And I'm not scrolling through 1,000 random ones.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, personally, it's kind of funny. I can't say that I'm a huge hip file like hoarder. Personally, I just, yeah, I know. I guess I'm weird like that. I like my own files. I try to keep relatively organized, like when I'm doing tasks and playing with things, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't have like, I'm not like grabbing files from everywhere. I kind of just, I don't know. For me, I just kind of look at it and then I'm like, oh, that's cool. Okay, great. And then I kind of move on. I don't know. I don't really go back and reference them that often, I feel like. So unless there's something maybe really, really important that I find, maybe, I don't know. I can't say that I have like a grand like design for that. Maybe I should. I hadn't ever even thought of that. So maybe that's bad on me for not for not keeping my stuff for not being as big of a hoarder as I should be, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess everyone's different. I know
Yeah.
when it comes to like, and this was another question that someone asked, and we were even speaking about like, what are we going to talk about tonight? Like, are there anything? And it's sometimes I like to just scroll through the thumbnails, and something, I can even pull it up.
Yeah, great.
Let me go to that folder, and people can see what kind of hoarder I am.
Yeah. Here, let me put you on in a second here.
Let me try and hide the sidebar so I don't get any NEAs. So yeah, some of these I don't look at like at all anymore, but I have a whole bunch, and then I have like this previews page,
Okay.
and so you can see it's just thumbnails, and I have, let's see how many I have here. I have 689. So there's obviously way more than I necessarily need. But it's fun
Yeah.
to kind of go in here and just see like, okay, this is fluid ice cream melting that someone posted at some point. And if I'm doing a
Cool.
fluid project, then maybe I'll just grab this, open it, see how they did it, reuse it, change it. There's often like small little, I don't know what this is, but yeah, so like I needed a fluid thing, and a lot of these are super old. I don't use them anymore
Mm-hmm.
because like just a flip splash, but there's a lot in here that would be super useful that I go to all the time. There's a guy, Stefan Walsh, he's on the CG Wiki Discord.
Yeah.
So anytime he posts a hip file, I save it with a picture, and his stuff is always like mind blowing. It takes me a while to understand it, but I find that I come back to these over and over again because they just are super helpful. So
Yeah.
I find this is a great way to like learn, and then yeah, when you need to get stuff
He's
going,
calling
then
you a
you
suck
just,
up there in the chat.
hey, he's helped me a lot, so I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I mean, personally for me, yeah, now I'm like got to think about that. I should really like be a little bit more intentional with that. I've done things like that with design inspiration. So for me, I'll have like little, depending on where I am, I might have a different way of saving it, but I've tried a few different ways of doing that. But yeah, I think it is important to have kind of a catalog of things that you can go back to and pull from, because yeah, you never really know what's going to inspire you, kind of start something off for you. And that was actually how I first started doing some of these streams, when it was literally just myself. And finding like things for my inspiration. I'm like, I'm gonna try to make that, and then just do it or do something similar to it.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
yeah, so I don't know, it's interesting. That's really cool, and I think a lot of people in the chat too are kind of saying like that's they're kind of saying that's like an interesting tip, and like they hadn't really ever thought of that before. Somebody says that's better than flip-test.hiplc, you know, so better having screenshots than just random stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. Otherwise, you just end up with so many, and you never go back to them because you have no idea what flip test hit, and was that the good one?
right.
Was that not? And it takes so long to like re-cook it. Like, no, it's never gonna happen. So
Yeah, exactly. No, that's great. I love that. That's really that's an interesting one. What else do you got here, that questions that you've been asked?
So in line with that, somebody else asked if I knew any programming before I started Houdini. I didn't,
Yeah.
and I still don't. I am not a strong programmer at all, and that's where some of these hip files help me a lot, because they kind of have a lot of cool Vex snippets and code that I can copy and paste. And I think at this point, I know enough to know what I need. And then how to get there is more about asking the right people the right questions, or finding
Right.
the right hip file. And there's also a tool called the OD tools, and inside there's something called the snippet library. What is it called? The snippet manager. And
Okay.
I save snippets into that all the time. And I find this is super useful because I'm not a programmer. A lot of the stuff doesn't always make sense to me, but I know that once it works, I know what it does, and I can save it and then just reuse it, um,
Right.
recycle it. So
Yeah, I was in the same boat personally. Like for me, I had never done any programming really before coming to Houdini. I mean, unless you call like After Effects expressions programming. I mean, that's about what I did. I did a little bit of stuff in C4D, like just a little, like couple little things of like minor programming stuff, but
yeah.
that was it. And so it was a huge learning curve for me personally to do that as well. How long ago is it that you've now been using Houdini?
I started just before the pandemic, so it's now 5 years, which feels
Wow,
crazy.
that's
It's been a while.
that's super cool. Like for me, I first started in 2016, 2017, something like that. But that's really impressive. I would have thought that you would have been doing this for a lot longer than that, just based on the stuff you do. That's really cool. That's super impressive.
Oh, I appreciate that. I know I kind of like dove headfirst during the pandemic. I went freelance, and then everyone stopped doing work in the pandemic, and I had a lot of free time on my hands. So I was like, well, instead of like just chipping
Yeah,
away at Cinema 4D, let me just dive straight into Houdini and just give
that's
it all I got. So I
yeah,
did.
that's really cool. I was already a Houdini user, but my Houdini time was kind of Houdini time. My time using Houdini was a little bit like lessened. Just we worked in a studio where we did all sorts of different things, so that wasn't really like my all the time
Yeah,
software. So that was always kind of a bit of a bummer for me. That's actually kind of why I started the stream, was to have more time where I could devote purely to
that's
just
cool.
doing Houdini
Yeah.
stuff and meeting people that use Houdini. So yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear. Some other people are saying, "Wow, 5 years," in the chat. Curious to hear what other people in chat are saying about their time, like learning programming. Maybe if they have anything that they would recommend. Do you have any like recommendations for people that are new getting into programming?
Me?
Well, no, I just mean like
I,
how you started learning about it. I mean,
I was my approach to Houdini was very different to what a lot of people suggest.
okay,
Was I was from cinema, and I loved fluid simulations, and I couldn't do them in cinema. So I got into Houdini and started doing fluid simulations, which is like the slowest, like the worst, like most technical. I used all the shelf tools and I got super excited by it because that's what I was into. And I think it's the same with programming. Like I use programming, I use Vex because I need to solve a solution to get to a destination. And so it was always like the means to an end. And I knew I wanted to get to the end. So if I could do it without Vex, then 100% I would do that. And the only way I get better is through Discord channels or the Odd Force side effects forums, like
Right.
researching posts and reading up on what these things do over and over again. Just before this call, I was rereading PrimUV XYZ. I still don't understand. Like, it's just
Yeah.
understand it, but when I have to, it just
Well, it's
never
hard to
makes
remember
sense.
it's hard to remember all the arguments and all that kind of stuff. I
Yeah, it's
always
just
have those open in another window because it's like,
yeah,
what
exactly.
order are the arguments in and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's hard to remember. I personally for me
Yeah,
too. I get that. So a lot of
yeah.
people in the chat are saying, Stefan Walsh challenges, Joy of Vax,
Of course,
things like
Joy Vex.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was super helpful for me too. That's why half of why I did like the video thing of it for Matt. And
Mm,
yeah,
I
another
remember
thing
that.
too,
Yeah,
just to kind of to go back to something that people in the chat were talking about a little bit is like it'd be cool to have like an online hip repository. And I think there's a thing called Node Society that somebody the guy who runs Inside the Mind is trying to do. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's like a he's trying to make like a repository for different hip files and things like that so that's kind of an interesting
that's
thing. And
cool.
I don't, I personally haven't, again, I guess I'm not a hip file hoarder, but I haven't really checked it out too much, but I think that would be a really cool idea for people that are, storing their hip files and trying to keep them all
Hmm,
kind
hmm.
of sorted from each other. Yeah. And just from my side of view, like my point of view from like learning programming is that I think the best thing to do is kind of try to understand the mindset of programming, like what the idea behind it is, and like kind of like some of the higher level concepts like loops
Yeah,
and how do variables work and what do those mean, and like especially within Houdini, what's the difference between a variable and an attribute, those types of things. And then once you start to understand that, then just figuring out the individual like functions and things like that, that's a whole kind of separate thing. It's just like those
yeah,
are then the tools to get the tasks that you want done, right?
yeah, yeah. And I definitely think that that's true.
Yeah. So that for me was like a big kind of game changer when I started thinking in that mindset. And then especially for me, I was learning a lot from entanglement tutorials and stuff. I think everybody has. But
Yeah, of
for
course.
me, like when I would start like type, I'd be like, oh, I think I know what they're about to do. When I first had that moment, I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Like I'm starting to like get it. You know what I mean? Like you start to get to that point where you know what the tools and what the steps that somebody might take to get to the end result are.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah. Somebody asked a question here in the chat, and I think this actually might be something really that you could speak to because you do a lot of like product type stuff, and I think that's fair to say, like product visual, like not visualization, but like advertisement and things like that for products. Somebody was saying here,
Yeah.
is it worth picking up Houdini solely for product and tech visualizations, dropping C4D Blender altogether? Now, I'm not going to say that you have to drop that altogether, but I'll let you kind of just maybe speak to what you think about those fields.
Yeah, so I don't know Blender much in the industry that I'm working. I still don't see it. It's starting to peak out here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But Cinema 4D is still very prominent. Like even the project I'm working on now, I'm doing some cool stuff, but then handing it off into Cinema, not for any other reason except they have a big render pipeline built
Right.
Cinema. So they just kind of putting assets in there and rendering it. But a lot of MoGraph shops are still using Cinema. A lot of the artists are more comfortable in it. I don't do it. So if they want me to do rendering, then I do it all in Houdini, or I pass them files and they can do it. I think there's merit in both. Picking just Houdini, I think you can definitely build a good career in just knowing Houdini. If you want to be very involved in the look dev side, I would say that you still need Cinema 4D because I think a lot of it still happens there. I don't know Blender.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll come up in the future. It'll be interesting
Hmm.
to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also curious about that too because I feel like C4D was always. I mean, you're in Europe, right? So I think that C4D being based out of Europe, it had a little bit more of a foothold there, honestly, before kind of like the kind of explosion of everything, all over the world type of a thing. Like, I feel like there was a little bit more, like, I think maybe there's more people that I know that are using Blender in the States. But I don't know. Like, I also see C4D as well in that field, so maybe it's a little bit more
Hmm.
mixed
Hmm.
here than maybe you run into. But that's interesting. I think that was my experience as well. Was I was the Houdini guy that made things, that made solvers and things like that would then get all that data would get
Yeah.
spat out into C4D, and then you'd run into headaches rendering it pretty much. So
All the time. All the
yeah,
time.
it's always like, why is this alembic not working? Or, oh, sorry, my camera just like tilted on me or something there. Why is this alembic not working? Why is this attribute not coming in from this thing or whatever? So it's yeah, it's always tricky to have to hand things back and forth. So I think if you're a one man band, trying to stay in one product is probably maybe more preferable, I would say.
I mean, for me, it is just like when you get into big simulations, sending a 400 gig Alembic is just a nightmare. Like just uploading it,
Yeah,
just the space to upload it, and then they want to change, and then you have to like do a new one and upload another 400 gig file. Like
it's
it's just
crazy. Yeah, it's
it's
too
just
much to deal
annoying.
with. Yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah, I think that's probably how I'd say it too. Like, I mean, if you have to fit it into a pipeline, it can be done, and if you want to work with it on your own as a individual
Yeah.
kind of freelancer, you can do that as well. So that's cool. Very cool. Any other questions that you had? And also, I should say too, for the chat, if you guys have questions in chat, please feel free to drop them in here. Obviously, this is a live session, so I mean, we're happy to take questions, maybe that seem appropriate or whatever. So we're always happy to have that and have a little bit of back and forth here. I see a lot of new names in there, so you're not maybe as used to hearing me have my whole spiel, but this is a place where you can ask questions and ask whatever you want. So so yeah, do you have anything else that people have been asking you that you were thinking that we might want to chat about?
Not particularly. I just want to reiterate what you said. Like, I'm happy to talk about something other than what we had planned to. Like, I
Hmm.
was gonna do some karma stuff, but if there are other questions or people have like other specific scenes or something that they want us to tackle together, then we can do that.
Yeah,
Do like a little ask session, and we can try and tackle some things.
yeah,
But if there isn't, then we can dive into
yeah,
the scene that I have here, and we can see where we go.
yeah, for sure. No, there's no specific topic, Daniel. No, you feel free to ask away. Yeah. So, oh, here's maybe one last question that you might. I know my answer to it, but the question was, although this is a frowned upon topic, have you guys ever found AI replacing some of your workflows yet? It's a big part of Python, so I was wondering whether you guys have experience on it. Any care to comment on that?
I mean, it's definitely replacing many parts of workflows. I mean, it's
Yeah,
everywhere,
but for
right?
you
So,
personally,
for me personally, no. I mean, uh, no. It I'm just trying to think like if I'm actually like I play around and I use it to like find references or just be inspired or find wacky weird things and just type meme meme type images. But in terms
Yep.
of like actual production workflows, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't do anything for me yet.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat, and I like a lot of the machine learning stuff. That the kind of ideas that
Hmm.
have been
Hmm.
kind of looked at for that upresing and better surfacing, things like that we've been seeing from even just side effects in the last release here. Those are the things that I'm excited about personally.
Hmm. Hmm.
Typing for an answer, I could care less. That's just I'll go work at McDonald's before I type for a living to a little thing that answers to a
Yeah.
whatever chat or whatever. But yeah, that's I think enough with that. But why don't we do this? Why don't we get over into your Copernicus team? We can kind of play around with that a little bit, and then when we go from there, we can start. if we get through that or whatever, we can also jump into other questions that people have. So why don't we do that? And so let me give you control over
Sounds
here.
good.
All right. So there we go. You have the screen.
Cool. So for those of you that don't know, I did this scene on my Patreon, and essentially what it is just a piece of cloth, and then I put some textures onto it. Now, I did this in Redshift. I can open Redshift and show you. And what I thought would be cool, because I'm not a very good comma enthusiast, comma user, not enthusiast. I am an enthusiast. I figured while I have Peter, it would be cool to kind of try and build it with him live, and he can give me as many pointers as he can to help me
Sure.
if this doesn't
Yeah.
crash. And so we'll take a look at what this looks like, so we have a reference. Maybe. Yeah.
There we go.
There's nothing worse than having things crash on you. It's okay if we crash though.
Oh yeah, it happens all
Let me
the time.
just turn on.
No worries.
Yeah. Okay. So we have some cloth textures that I created in Cops, and then this letter stuff that is also in Cops with some UV thing. So yeah, there's a lot we can play with. And
Cool.
inside of Redshift, I was playing a lot with like subtracting and adding and multiplying random things. So I'm curious to see how we can kind of put this all together in Karma. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. It would be fun just to play and
see what we could come up with.
Where we go.
Yeah, for sure. Well, obviously, the first thing you would need to do is we need to go into the Solaris context. Obviously, that's kind of our first thing here that we'd need to do. So yeah, set us up here.
All right, I'm going to copy this, and then let's go into our stage context.
Daniel in the chat said he likes how the first thing Redshift does is crash in the stream.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty thing. Okay, we are going. All right,
we're going. We've got it. All right, so we've got a stop import here, so that's cool. And yeah, let's grab the cameras as well. Nice. See, you know what you're doing already. You're off and running.
I mean, I know this.
So one thing I will say too before we go further with this is that one thing that a lot of people don't realize with Solaris is that when you're importing things like this, especially with a live SOP import, you actually are bringing things in like frame by frame, and Solaris USD doesn't love that. That's not always its favorite thing. So a lot of times you're even better writing things to disk. Now, in this case, we're not going to be like worrying about the playback and all that stuff. You kind of already know what it looks like and you've already experienced it. But sometimes putting something down as simple as like a cache node or something like that can really help speed up your workflows down the road. But we don't have to be like scrubbing around the timeline and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, so I don't think it'll matter too much here. But just something to note that sometimes that time dependency can be a little funky. So
even a cache node like this inside here would like buffer some frames.
So it'll actually take what it's doing is it's actually looking at all of the kind of the time samples that would get written out to a USD file and making that available on the stage whenever you want to move around. So that's kind of what cool. The cache is. It's a little different than what a cache sort of does in SOP. So it's a little bit of a different mentality. So I don't think you need that here, but just something to keep in mind for people. Yeah.
I had no idea that was the thing. Cool.
Yeah, so time dependency can be a little bit flaky, or not flaky, but it's just something that you don't always want in a USD scene. So, okay, so you've got your import there. Is there anything else we need to bring over? Cloth, cameras. We'll just set up some textures. Right?
Yeah. So
okay, cool.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do a quick surface material first. I think that's a pretty good, easy one, especially if you're new to this type of stuff. A quick surface material. And so this is actually a file on disk actually that gets brought in and has a whole Uber shader that's kind of built into it. So you can see there on the right-hand side in your parameters, you've got base and specular and coat and all that kind of stuff. And so what we can actually do is like if you have a color map, Solaris time. So if you have a color map set up, right? I think you probably have those already in Copernicus, right?
I don't actually have any colors. That was all set up via ramps, or we can just use a base color.
But you had like, how are you? Let's take a look at your Copernicus setup, and maybe that'll inform a little bit about
That's
what it is we're
yeah,
doing.
yeah. So I have here I have like
Mm-hmm.
this. I can show it on the cloth. I have like this glitchy, I don't know,
Oh, okay, cool.
box thing. So there's no color. I mean, we can do color in here, I guess.
Yeah. No,
We
no,
could
no.
do it
That's
live.
so. So where's the blue coming from? That's just a color underneath it, and you're multiplying it on top of it.
Yeah, I was just using like the white values to be blue and the black values to be orange of
Oh,
this
okay.
in
Yep.
Redshift.
That makes sense. Okay, so you're doing that. Um, right.
I'm I,
Okay.
so I'm doing it in Redshift because I'm pretty new to Copernicus too. So like I'm a
Yeah.
lot more comfortable doing stuff in Redshift. So I generally will just take and just do it all in Redshift because that's like my comfort level. But hey,
Yeah.
we can do it in here and we can play here. Like I'm open to
No.
whatever
This is great.
whatever.
No, this is totally cool. Let's just do that. I think we should be fine with that. I don't think we'll run into any issues there. We might need to build that a little differently though, because
Okay.
what you can do here, just for reference, if you turn on the color map, there's a little circle next to color map there. You just change that to the pencil icon there
I'm trying
in
to see
the
where
parameters.
Colormap. This here?
Yep. Down low. One more. Yep. Down one more.
Oh, in
Yep,
here.
right
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Yep.
I see.
Yep. Set or create. And
Okay.
right there at the very far end, there's actually a Copernicus button, and that'll actually just make a
Ooh.
Copernicus network for you. So if you click on that, that'll throw a quick surface material Copernicus network, and you jump inside of that. And now this base color is linked to the base color in that shader.
Okay.
And
So
so this op colon is a way
yeah.
that you can pull
Oh,
your
that's cool.
Copernicus textures over into into a render context. So let's take that, and we can do sort of the same thing, but do it just in a regular like Karma material builder type setup. So why don't we actually put down a
Just before we do that, so
yeah.
let's say I'm using this quick service. How do you suggest one applies this to my cloth? Or is it
Yeah,
already
right.
applied?
So no. So it's a material, right, that lives in your in your geometry spreadsheet there, at the bottom. Actually, unfortunately, you're over top of it, but that's okay. Usually I have this like transparency cut out
Move it
here.
up.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So there you go. So Stefan Walsh was just saying, am I getting his name right? I think I am. You could, at the end of your Copernicus outputs, just go mono to RGB, and that's a gradient remap like you're used to from Redshift. So that's what we could do there too. So you
Cool.
could, I am. Okay, good. Thanks. Thanks, Stefan. So you're right. This isn't applied yet. So if you go into our, if you do assign material assignment. I can't remember which order it is right now since I'm talking. Assign material. There you go. So this basically is just drag and drop with the primitives that are coming in right there. So you can see here we have a SOP import one. We really should probably name that cloth, that node. If you rename the SOP import one node to cloth or something like that,
Okay.
that's going to rename that in your scene graph tree over on the left-hand side there. You can see now you have cloth. And then you could
Okay.
also reassign your quick surface material to be something like cloth underscore matte or something like that if you wanted to. Good organization is always good. And so that puts it in a little material scope there, which is just like an organizer. And so now you just can drag and drop right if you select the assign material node. And you can just drag and drop those primitives. So you have a primitive, so that's where you want it to be assigned, and the material path, that's just where the material is coming from. So you just drag and drop cloth over to the primitives from your scene graph tree.
This
No. Sorry, from your
yeah.
scene graph tree. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. Just drag and drop, and then you can do the same with the cloth material. And that's as
Okay.
difficult as it is to get that working like that. And
Okay.
now you've got it
And now we
in
go.
your viewport.
Cool.
Exactly.
Okay.
And in here,
All right.
obviously, you could just go over from where it says perspective in the viewport there and change it over to Karma CPU, for example. And that'll just go right into rendering it. Now, obviously, we don't have lights or anything like that.
Beautiful.
But yeah, so it starts rendering it just like that.
Cool.
So yeah, so maybe what we should do is, and we could try what Stefan even mentioned there is just doing the mono to RGB and getting a ramp out of that, out of
Yeah.
Copernicus, and then that could just drive our color here for our cloth material. That would be easy enough to do.
So in that case, can I change this to go and fetch
Yep.
that?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
So just change that to be that specific path to maybe a null in there that we could set up, and
Okay.
that would
So
probably be
let's
our best bet.
dive in here. And I have
Yep.
this out noise. I'll grab this out noise, go
Perfect.
back into here. Quick mark this. And then I'm just going to replace this here.
Yeah. Exactly. That
Like so.
should
Okay.
do it.
Oh,
There we go. Hey, look at that.
cool. Okay.
Perfect. Another thing too, I just want to mention too, because this obviously has UVs on it and things like that. One thing you might find if you're ever like inspecting things in your geometry spreadsheet in Solaris is that UV gets changed to ST. That's an old, I think that's a RenderMan thing that Pixar uses. So yeah, it's kind of a fun thing. So if you look at that mesh inside of there, if you open up cloth, there's a mesh inside of that. Sorry, on the scene graph tree there.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Oh,
you can
here it is.
select
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
And then that's kind of like what you kind of would expect your normal geometry spreadsheet to sort of be like. And you can see there you've got all different UVs. You also have ST, which is your standard UV conversion. So you still have all these other UVs as well, but that one's in there. So anyways.
So if you want to change like what this is applied to, can you
Yep,
change?
you can right there. So if you look at maps,
In this?
you can see right there you've got UV, you've got triplanar that it can set up.
Ah,
Now this
okay.
is
So
this is
what's
like
this?
an Uber shader that has a bunch of stuff applied to it.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so you can select whichever UV primvar you might want and kind of go from there.
Okay. Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So now what we could do is we could go and, like Stefan said, we could add a ramp to that and get some colors out of there and
Yeah.
kind of start
Let's do
playing
it.
around with that. Yeah. So I think it's a he said a mono to RGB for that.
Well, let's do it before here.
Yep. And there we go. So now we should have a ramp that we can apply.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Done.
Okay.
Render.
Now I just want to see what this looks like. Oh, hold on. Let's drop down a dome light.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Oh yeah, do you have a specific HDRI that you want to use or whatever?
Always.
Always.
Not
Perfect.
as I have. Where's my OD asset library? I am a big fan of this OD tools.
Yeah. I've never used it before, so
actually,
that's cool. That's cool. I'm excited to see this. I've never had it.
I mean, if you come from cinema, then you have the content library, which I guess this is like a
Yep.
similar thing to it.
Cool.
But yeah, you can hold textures. You can even hold like full projects, Houdini projects in here, which I have a bunch of like just mini setups. Like if I want to get like a velocity field from curves, like I have.
Oh, I lost your audio there for a second, Paul. I think this might be what we were talking about here. Hold on. Uh-oh. I think we still have my audio here. Hold on. Hold on. Is that your bathroom, Paul? Yes, I am. Hold on. Let's see. I think he's oh, audible. That's the word. Yes, audible. We got to figure that out. Uh-oh. All right, we'll figure this out here in a second. I don't know if Paul can still hear me. This is sorry, this is the wonderful on the fly audio issues. Thanks. Thanks everybody for letting me know you can hear me. Hopefully we can. It's just not Paul. Okay. He's giving me the 1 second thing here. Let me know if you need to reconnect, Paul. We can thumbs up, thumbs down. Can you hear me? Yeah, the CPU is eating his resources. No, I can't hear you. Hold on 1 second here. I'm going to do this. Paul, if you need to, maybe I'm just going to talk to him in the background here. Redshift crashed his microphone. We were trying to use CPU. Oh, I like heard you for like a millisecond.
I think I'm back.
Yes,
Maybe
I
I'm
hear
back.
you. Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sorry about that, man. Oh, it stinks.
No, this is karma, man. This is karma's going for me.
Yeah. um, I wonder if there's anything we can do for that. Well, let's just keep going. We'll take it a step at a
Well,
time here.
what was that? Yeah. Okay.
All right. Anyways, sorry. What were you saying before we got so rudely interrupted here?
I was just saying I'm always amazed at how different karma light works. Like if I drop that dome light in Redshift, it looks so different to the way that it looks in karma. It always is weird to me.
Yeah.
Different softwares and lighting. That's good.
Yeah,
That's
there's I
fine.
mean, yeah, so many different ways that you can kind of sample lights and things like that and have them work. Also, well, no, I was going to say Redshift is a biased render, but I think so is Karma. So, oh, cool. Wow, are these all things that you have from OD tools?
So this one is called Rampunzel. A friend of mine, Luke Van, created it. It's really cool. You can like save ramps in here. So I'm gonna just.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, look at
That's
that one. That
really
one
neat.
is okay. So we're gonna go with that because it
Yeah, I like that.
and
That's really
and
cool.
this is like animated in cop, so it like jitters around. It's gonna be wild.
Cool.
All right, so let's go with that.
Okay. And you
And then
had
we
probably other
can.
things in there too. Did you have other like noises and stuff? Like,
Yeah, so I've got this like velvet texture that I made
okay.
with this what is this node? The tile pattern node. And
Mm-hmm.
then I also have just like a cloth texture node. And
Okay.
so
So
what I was doing with it, sorry to interrupt you, what I was doing
no,
with
fine.
it in Redshift was I was using this mask and then again using some of the black and white values just to get like random so some patches would have like this velvet material and other patches would have this cloth material. So I'm
Okay.
not
And you were
sure if we
like
can
multiplying that
still.
over top? Was that going into the bump or what was that?
Yeah, I mean I was using displacement, but we can use bump displacement. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay,
Just
let's do that. I think that would make sense. We could probably do that. Let's just try throwing one of those into the like a height displacement over here. So I think if you go into the
okay.
geometry tab there.
Let me just jump back into my camera. Why have I lost my camera or am I missing something? My
That is weird.
camera. But I see it here, but I can't see. Oh, there we
Yeah.
go. Okay, that was weird. But I'm back.
You're back. All right.
Okay, so we on our cloth material.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if it's using this like because you have multiple GPUs, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if there's like some weird GPU collision there, and it was like, anyways, continue on. Yeah. So geometry, geometry should have the bump assignment and
Geometry.
stuff in
Okay.
it. Or no, bump. Sorry, duh.
In bump. Okay.
Yeah, I'm dumb.
And then I want to
Yeah.
use
So you could do the bump height map.
bump height map. Click.
So yeah, set or create, and then you can do the same
Okay,
thing.
and
Just
then-
op colon and then that path.
I should have copied it when I was there. I saved that to 5.
Goldfarb saying hi as well in the chat.
Hey. Oh, that's cool. Come on, quick mark. Okay, so then I can paste that in there. Okay, let's cross fingers. Let's try XPU and see if it's better with audio. I have no idea.
Sure. Yeah, let's give it a shot. Yeah, it's initializing. Just give it a moment here. Somebody's just saying something about, can we do displacement, not bump? I remember tried doing it in Karma, wasn't viewable in Karma viewport. Yeah, I don't know. I think for this specific demo kind of that we're doing, I think it'll be easier to just kind of stick with bump and not worry about doing like any displacement type stuff. But I'm not sure if that's been fixed in the viewport or if it was broken ever. But I know that probably in 21, which should be coming out fairly soon, you should see, I'm sure, a lot of improved viewport type things. So
Does this quick material have displacement built into it?
yeah, so if you do the bump, if you do true displacements, that would do actual displacement.
Oh, okay. That's interesting that it's in bump too. So it's just clicking this button and it'll actually do like...
It'll do displacements. Now you might want to take down the scale on it as well, because that's going to be obviously a multiplier on that and that type of a thing.
Okay. So is it possible to scale textures and stuff through this quick material, or is that now pushing the limits?
So no. So if you go down to the maps down there, that is going to adjust kind of the UV mapping and stuff like that and scaling. So you could do some UV scaling on it to be able to scale those. And so that should change those values for you.
But this is like for the whole material, like you can't do per, like scale my bump and then my texture map doesn't get scaled.
Right, exactly. You'd have to, you can do that obviously within Karma. That's outside of the quick surface has like unified controls for everything just to make it a little bit simpler. So, I mean, we could certainly set that up in there. Kind of up to you, however you'd.
Let's do a, what is the material?
Yeah, do a material
builder?
library. Material library.
That's the one. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's
so
go
drop
for
that down. Add a Karma material builder inside.
Okay. So we'll call this cloth. And cool.
So now we're inside, basically within. Now, if you hit tab, it's going to filter out everything that doesn't work in Karma, basically. So this is just the Karma nodes, Material X stuff, Karma,
Cool.
So it's focused on just that. There's obviously a lot of Material X nodes that are in there, but okay. So in order to do that, we'd need to bring in an image from use a Material X image, I think it would be, or tiled image, because you want to change their so use the tiled image. Yep.
I had it. There
you go.
Oh, this one comes with UV stuff. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. So so you can set that up however you'd want to. So so you can do that for the base color, and then
and
you
then
should be able to
same thing in the...
Yep, you should be able to.
Okay, let me copy this,
because that field is basically just feeding that into a shader that's in there doing basically the same thing. We obviously need to assign this one too. So So if you go back up to the assign material there and just change which material you're using, so you can just drag and drop that over. Somebody's asking if there's a way to have Karma, Material X, and Redshift shaders at the same time. Yes, you can actually make both shaders and put them into a collect node. And then depending on which render you're making, it can actually choose between those depending on which renderer you've chosen. So it knows which those are coming from. So, that's the Velvet one, right? So you want to get the noise one. Yeah. Great. Okay, cool. So so now you should be able to change that. Obviously, you could wire in your specific UVs that you want. Like if you have a specific UV, you can wire that in. By default, it the texture coordinates is what. Actually, sorry, you would want to no, because that's just for the base texture coordinates. So what you would want to do is a geometry property value. And
cool.
I believe in this, we'd be able to set it up to be a vector 2 and then pull in whichever other UV, if you have like UV2 or something like that. Because the other one's kind of hardwired to the base texture coordinates. So I think that should work. I'm hoping. Is that what it was? UV2, is that the name of it?
Yeah. Well, that did something. That did
Wow,
something.
that did something. Holy
Looks-
cow! Why
And now it's yellow. Because if we take a look at this one, I used
Yeah.
UV2 over here,
Okay. Yeah.
so I can disable that.
Yeah. Let me think about that. Why is that not working? Hmm.
Is it a vector 2? I don't know.
It
What are
should.
UVs? Vector 2s?
Maybe it's a. Yeah, they should be vector 2. Yeah. Exactly. I guess now I should open up my Houdini and have it running alongside here, so I can figure out what the heck is why that's going on. That's weird. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, why would that have changed to green? That is really odd.
This is my experience in Karma. People are always like, "Oh, you didn't give Karma a good shot." I promise you, every time I do this, I get this kind of interesting.
Weird
But
thing
now it's
happening.
green even when it's not plugged in. Why has it gone green? Let me try CPU quick. Oh, no, it is green. For sure green.
So I wonder if plugging something into that messed with it. Hold on a second here. Let me pull up my my setup here. And so I think maybe you plugged something into default. Let's just copy that file over again, and let's just copy that over, and let's do another tiled image. I just want to make sure it's not.
Wait. I think this here changed. This is what changed.
Oh, yes, that was what
The
changed.
signature.
Yes, because you plugged it into the default. Yes, that must have been what it was.
Okay. Now
So,
we're working.
All right. So, and then you can just do. I'm gonna open this up here so that I have my. Because I don't always remember all the nodes either.
That's scaling. Oh, okay, this is cool.
All right, so it's working now for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
Cool,
weird
cool.
that it changed. See, this is the type of stuff that you got to just get used to.
Yeah, I think unfortunately when you plugged it in there, it didn't know what to set it back to, type of a thing, right? So I think that was what we ran into there. So yeah, so now if you want to bring that in for
bump,
yeah, if you want
what am I going to use for bump?
Yes, so you have displacement there actually that you could use. You could also do you could also do a height field to a normal. That would work as well. I think that's what we're doing internally for the other thing. The displacement is actually, yep, there's height to normal. So if you put that in, so that velvet is going to actually not be a color channel, but the signature isn't going to be color, but it's going to be float, I guess, because it's black and white on the velvet. Yep.
All right. Okay.
So then you can just wire that into the displacement. The actual material X displacement is what you'd want there. Or sorry, normal.
With the normal.
Sorry. Keep going. I'm sorry. You're going quicker than I am, and I'm like,
no.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. So yeah, that should work. And then the height to normal, you have a scale on there that you can set, and that was what we were setting before. Yeah, I think we're seeing it there, right? It's kind of hard for me to see.
Yeah, we're seeing it. It's doing some
just
interesting stuff. It's
just huge, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it.
Yeah, so bring that height to normal down quite a bit, I would say, even more. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see, like here, it's like.
Oh yeah. It needs a normal map as well. Sorry.
It needs a normal map.
Yeah, there's a normal map node.
Here?
I forgot about that. Yeah. Somebody mentioned that in the chat.
Okay.
Tom is also Waffle Boy is also asking, "Where's your V-neck? Why is it not there?"
Waffle Boy, it's waiting.
We're more mature now. That's what he said at the beginning of the stream. All right, so that looks like it's maybe doing something a little bit better for us.
Yeah, now we're working. Cool.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Okay, great. So so we've got our velvet texture in there. You've got the color. You could also obviously bring in anything else. You know, if you have another noise or something like that that you'd want to pull in, you could bring that in and add it to the velvet. You know, whatever kind of normal overlay kind of things you'd want to do.
What I would be curious to find out now is like, let's say I want to take this node and I want to do some sort of multiplication screen or something with this texture. So I don't have the velvet over everything, but rather
Mm-hmm.
just like patches of it. How would you go about setting that up?
Yeah, so I think what you would do, and this again is getting into some pretty more advanced rendering stuff. I'm not really the rendering guru here, but you've got add nodes and you've got multiply nodes and things like that within Material X as like default nodes. So you should be able
Okay.
to find those types of things that you would expect in here. So you've got Material X
Okay.
add.
Let's try a multiply.
Yep.
And then do we have
exactly.
a ramp?
Yep, we have a
Ramp
karma
parameter?
ramp. Yep.
Okay, cool. So let's see if I pipe this into here and pipe that into there. And all right, we're going for it. And what's the best way to preview? Like if I want to just preview this ramp here, I want to see what
I
this looks like.
I'm trying to think of that. I think X will actually give you a preview and you can see that. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, cool.
There we go. Yep.
Yes, let's clamp some of these values down. So then I can
We had everybody in the chat yelling X. So
X. Okay, and then if I hit X here, okay, yeah, that's cool. So now we have like the velvet just here, and everything else is black. So that, and if I hit X again, okay, cool.
nice.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
cool. So then what we can do is I will go and I'll duplicate this, call this cloth, and I will grab my cloth texture. There, cloth. So I want to now do the same thing here, but I want a different ramp.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Well, essentially, I'm going to just invert it. I could have used an invert, but
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. So one interesting thing here, as you're doing this, is that those ramps are actually Material X nodes, but they're created by side effects, and so some of those we've like tried to get back into like Material X proper, so that we can then deprecate them, type of a thing. So it's kind of like a circular thing happening there with Material X, because that was one thing it didn't have before we built it. So,
oh, that's cool.
Interesting little tidbit, but.
Okay, something I'm doing wrong here. Let me just jump into this one and just see, what did I call this? This is out cloth. Let me copy this. But when I'm going into here, this is out cloth. Let's paste that in there.
Maybe just remove that and hit X again. Yeah, just see if it was just something that got kind of.
I think if I remember right, this has to be plugged in somewhere for X to work. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool.
Okay, got it.
I remember browsing the forums back in the day, trying to figure out how to make that work. Okay.
Yep.
So I guess I can just multiply these two together. Let's try that. I don't know. In Redshift, you have like a bump blender where you can add multiple bump maps and then like blend them together either via an attribute or just like
you could always do a mix or something like that, you know, if you wanted to. That would certainly work.
A mix?
You could kind of, yeah, there's a mix. Yep.
Oh yeah, okay, let's try that.
And this has a mix value that you could wire in. So if you had like a value that told, you know, if you had a map that told you which value you wanted, it would be able to run that as well.
mean, it's hard to tell, but I think that's working. This is, I'm guessing, but maybe.
Yeah, no, that's cool. The other thing that's cool with the Material X mix is that that actually works for shaders as well, so you can mix shaders together.
Okay, this is. Huh?
Somebody in chat was saying that they forget about the X thing, and clearly I forgot about it as well. I was like, I think that works, and I saw everybody saying it in chat. I'm like, yeah, that should work then.
How do you make materials if you can't like preview individual ones?
I'm not
I guess you can
making
also just
advanced
plug it into-
materials like you are. Mine are just for teaching purposes. It's a little different. You know, I'm not trying to make things look ultra pretty. If it's quick and easy and gets the concept across, that's good.
Okay, is that now? So that I'm messing with my brain here.
Yeah, it looks like you're getting different
So this
roughnesses.
Yeah, but if you look at like this square patch,
Yeah, it's
even though
smooth.
this is opposite, it's not getting the correct map. I'm not understanding why. Base color. So this is white and that's black. I need this to be white. That is white. Oh wait. Would maybe a multiplies the wrong one then? Because I need to
For doing what?
invert. I think I need to invert this color. Oh, no, wait, that is actually right. Now this one has the. I'm confusing myself, but I think it's now working. I want everything to have. See how everything doesn't have a texture now?
Mm-hmm.
Where they should all have a texture. They should just be two different types of texture. One should have the velvet, and then the other one should have the other type of.
Yeah, so somebody's just saying you might not need to do those multiplies. Just go straight into the mix and use black and white to flip between them.
Oh yeah, that's clever.
Yeah, so I think that's yeah. Yeah, that's a good call, and then we can just you can just use that to kind of jump back and forth.
Okay. It's slow, but it is doing what it's supposed to do now. And it's looking fuzzy. Cool. Let me add another light in here. Light.
And one thing that I don't know if you played with the lights in here before, but they've got those nice placement modes. So if you're looking for diffuse or specular somewhere, you can just kind of paint it. You can just direct it to go somewhere, which is nice.
Oh, cool. How do I do that?
So there's placement modes up at the top there while you're selected on that light above the right there. And so you can just select that and then tell it, you can click on the surface there and just should try to put your diffuse somewhere for you.
Oh, look at that. Okay. Oh, that's
and
cool.
Then you can change brightness. There's controls for that and stuff like that as well. The shadow one is a little different. You like select a point that you want to have a focus, and then you kind of direct the shadow there.
So you select a point, and then you
select a point that's like an orbit, and then you tell it where you want the shadow to kind of triangulate between those.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the diffuse kind of just tells it where the diffuse is going. The specular tells you where you want to place your specular highlights, and then some of the other things allow you to do that. But anyways, it's just a fun little thing if you've never used it before. But
yeah, that's good. Does this have a spread? Yeah, it does.
Yep, it's actually under shaping, I believe, as well. I think under spotlight, I want to say. There's like a, or no, I guess, nope, sorry, I'm thinking of something else. No, you're right.
I remember when I tried to do this before, I'd had to, like, only a specific one had spread that worked. I don't know if it's still the case. I don't know if it's working. I would think that it would be.
Oh, disk doesn't work, only rectangle. Got it. There you go.
Okay. I knew there was one of them that it needed to.
The shaping does also work, but that's kind of the angle. Like it's almost like an angular control from it, but and more of like a spotlighty kind of a thing. But
What is going on here? The spread still doesn't seem to work on rectangle.
Yeah, that's interesting. Try the shaping thing.
Yeah, let's. Okay, so I'll set that to 1. Spotlight.
And then just see if you can change the angle of that. Yeah, there's your barn doors.
Oh,
so
that's
those are
cool.
working. So then you can change the angle, and that should kind of focus it in a little bit more, I think. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
So that's
You can add
what it is. It's just
Oh,
named a little
yeah.
bit maybe differently.
Okay. Yeah.
Yay,
now
we found it.
I mean, it's kind of weird that you have like this rectangle and then a spotlight in there, but
A
hey,
cone
I'll
off of
take
it. Yeah. So those are actually USD lights too. So those are like default like USD type primitives.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
those would actually work with should work with any other render engine too, which is kind of always a nice thing about Solaris. But
Okay, so I actually want to move
Epoxia,
this
you're asking if
around.
these tools work with Redshift lights as well. I think they would work if they work in Solaris. So if you're using Redshift in Solaris, it should, but obviously in object context, it would not.
And do all the light filters and stuff work in Redshift as well? In Karma?
Like the ones from Karma? No, I think those are specific to Karma, the light filters and things like that. I haven't actually worked with light filters really at all yet, so that's still something I have yet to play around with. But
can I have 2?
Mhm.
Okay, let's see if this is gonna work.
Can you drag the light to the viewport like in regular Houdini to look through it? Yeah, you can. I don't know about that, but you can right click on the camera and you can see from the light's perspective there, and that gives you the lights.
Oh,
so
that's cool. Yeah.
So you can look from the light's
you can
perspective
lock
and
it.
lock that in and then move it around as needed.
Oh, that's cool. I do that a lot.
Do you? You use that kind of mode a lot?
Yeah. It's nice to kind of see where the light is looking, and then I jump out and tweak it. But
I'm not sure why that's why that's not working.
This is not the first time that I have this problem. I have posted about this, and many people are like, no, there's something wrong with your like setup or something, because this is why I've never gotten into XPU, because it's been like 1 minute and I don't have an image of a piece of cloth.
Yeah.
Slow.
No, that's crazy. That's interesting. That's very interesting. What about CPU? Can you just switch it to CPU for a second, just to see if that's? I know that freaked us out last time, but we'll do it. We'll do it as a test. This is fun. I like this. This is I'm. Hopefully, you're having fun and not too much pain.
Yeah, I'm liking this. I'm learning a lot of stuff.
Cool. Great. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure why this is. Why that's
Can I
doing
refresh?
it. Yeah, you can try restart render.
Restart.
Somebody said labs refresh viewport.
Oh, it is my number one hotkey in Houdini. I can tell you now. I use that.
Oh, we're hoping that goes away sometime. That's kind of my personal goal in my heart, is to keep pushing every viewport thing and being like, this should work.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that this is something with the 2 viewports that we're running into here, because it looks like
I just crashed Houdini. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
In
We'll
the
find out
in the
soon.
new in the new version, there's that like pull off pane tab thing that like it like share. It's almost like the quad view instead of like making a
Okay.
new scene view. So it's like a little bit more efficient from what I understand. So that'll
Oh,
be kind of interesting to mess around
interesting.
with
Yeah.
there. Um, hopefully you've saved. I'm hoping.
Yeah. I might have to rely on autosave for for this one.
For this
Maybe
one,
it'll
yeah.
crash. If it crashes, I can pull up the crash file.
Yeah,
We'll have to
exactly.
see.
Ah, that's interesting.
Come on, crash on me. It's nothing worse than Houdini freezing, but then not crashing. Give me my
Right,
crash file.
right. I'll give you a minute here of from the white screen. I get this all the time, so this normal thing with live presentations.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go back and look through and see if there was any questions or anything like that that we could chat about while you're working on that. Um,
I did see someone mention like a list of tools that I use often. I think that was
oh
a while
yeah,
ago. I
yeah.
just saw
That's
it pop
I
up.
did see that.
Um, so I have a few that I live and breathe by. Obviously, mops is huge for me. Like coming from like MoGraph stuff, I just love mops. I use it a lot more than I should, but it also helps a lot with not having to deal with prim intrinsics and matrices and quaternions and all that kind of stuff, which really helps when you're getting started and trying stuff. So I recommend people use that and then learn as you go. So I'm now starting to understand a bit more about that, but I can still make projects. So mops is huge. Um, in terms of like general workflow and what would like production, I guess you would call it, OD tools is massive for me. It has the asset library, which I use all the time. It has, all the different assets. Um, and I can open a different scene here and show you that. So I don't know if you want to share my screen. So I have like all my HDRIs at the top here. And then I also have, I made one material, but I did the grayscale gorilla ones ages ago. But then, yeah, I have a bunch of just materials that you can like pull in here. And this makes it really fast to create shaders. And then like his models, you can have models and then you can just drag them in to your scene, which my computer's struggling because of this guy. Go away. So yeah,
Sorry, I am
this is
muted.
cool.
Yeah, my bad. I was taking a drink.
And then the other thing that it has that I was mentioning earlier is this snippet library. So it comes with some snippets, but it also has, you can also save your own. So here's one here where I have basic rotation that I use all the time for like kinefx stuff. So I could write this out, but it takes quicker to open this and just drop it down than it is
Yeah.
to try and remember exact arguments. So I really enjoy using that. And then it has this reference manager. So when you have a scene with lots of textures and assets, it'll bring them all up here and you can see whether they save to your job, to your hip, if it has like relative paths. And then you can also change them all in here. So it's very easy to kind of create a collect file from here to make sure everything's in the right
Yeah.
space. So I
Oh, that's really
can
cool.
highly recommend that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then uh, Qlib. Qlib, is that what it's called? I use
Yeah.
that one quite a lot. There's quite a few tools in that I use fairly often. Just random tools. And then the last one is Luke Van has a toolkit, and these are all free. The only downside is he doesn't have an FX license, so they will down convert your scene. But he does have a lot of super fun nodes in here that make life really easy. But because they hip LC, you have to kind of recreate them or know that your scene will get down converted. And in terms of project files, I was saying how, like, if I need to, let's see if this will work. Yeah. So here I know that all I need to do is drop in a volume, so I can drop down a box. I think this is what I need to do. And now I have a velocity volume, and it's
Okay.
just this velocity from surface. It's just like a preset. I guess it's recipes in
Yeah.
Houdini 20 now. This
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like what I used to do. You can do it the same thing, but I find that super useful instead of having to rebuild these, and then I have a whole bunch of different ones for different setups.
For sure.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've always seen people using the OD tool set. I don't have it, so I've never been able to be like, oh, this is how it works or whatever. But yeah, it seems like a really like it seems like there's so many things in there. I don't understand how there's so many things in there. It's crazy.
yeah. Oliver's the developer. He's a bit of a madman, I think.
Uh,
He's
Apparently, yeah.
crazy good.
Somebody said there's a light placer in there as well. Like crazy.
Yeah, it's super cool. For like native other renderers. Okay, let's see how far back we go here. It doesn't. It looks like we're pretty far.
Pretty close. Yeah. Okay. Not too
Uh,
bad. So yeah. So the
yeah.
idea is, I guess people are saying that just stick with one viewport.
Okay.
For right now.
All right.
I'm not sure. I feel like I've done some of that stuff. You could also maybe just do a split viewport, you know. But Oliver's in the chat telling you to shut up. So
9. Oh, he's fine. Oliver is German. German living in America.
oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah.
And you're South African living in Germany.
Living in Germany, yeah. Look how it goes. Okay, let's see. XPU.
Yeah, that is interesting. It does seem to take you a little bit of time for XPU to kick off. I do wonder if it's part of you having two different GPUs from different GPU. Uh, hey, Oliver says he was born in South Africa.
What? I did not know that about you, Oliver. That's cool.
I
Things you
kind of
learn
wonder
on
if
a
it's
live stream.
yeah. This is where everything comes out. Apparently, all the background stuff. I think it might be the two different architectures of GPUs that's causing the slowness. I wonder, because I have a feeling that could be part of it. Because once it kicks off, it's fine, but like before that, it does take a while, which is odd. The one really nice thing is that you don't have to compile as much with the newer XPU build in 21. There's a way to pre-compile everything, and you only have to do that
Oh.
every so often. You can do it as like a little process and then leave it for a while. So it's like just like a little. There's a thing like that in Arnold as well, but we now have one in Karma, so it's nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that'll make XPU a little less painful. Obviously, you can't pre-compile shaders, but you can pre-compile the render kernels. So, cool. Okay, so where were we here? So we're doing some lighting.
I'm struggling here. I'm struggling.
That's all right.
With,
That's
without
me every
two
time.
viewports.
I do wonder if you couldn't do the split one, but let's like not like two different viewport panes, but just do the quad, like the half split thing in one scene view. But I don't know, that's scary as well. So
It would be this button here rather than split left and right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just see what this looks like. Is there a way to do like a bucket render in the viewport? Like a final render?
In the viewport, no.
So I have to like render to inplay to see this. Like, I don't know if you've used Redshift, but you can like bucket mode and then it does like a final render so you can see like, I don't know,
like the small area. I mean, you could do a region of it. So you could just render a region if you wanted to see that a bit quicker. I don't know. I
just want to see like what this looks like in full res.
Yeah.
Let's turn up the roughness here.
Hmm.
And is there a difference between the scale on this height to normal and the scale inside this normal map?
Um, the one is going to be changing. I'm not sure what the difference would be there. I usually CPU can bucket, XPU can't. Okay, there you go. There's the difference. So it's in the
Okay.
ROP. Someone is saying. So drop down Karma. Yep.
This one? Okay.
Oh, you could also do it through the viewport. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So if you select that, and then I believe. Sorry, I'm trying to do this. Da, da, da. Yeah, so that's setting the from the camera. I think it would probably be an advanced. I would think,
Bucket
and
and cache.
then
Let's go to bucket.
bucket. There you go. Yep, it's going from the middle and bucketing outwards now. So it's doing a progressive bucket render. So
Oh, okay. So you can't just get like one bucket in the middle that's like the final. It'll still kind of progressively.
yeah, I haven't done that specific thing before. If I wanted like a small area of it, I would just do a focus, just do a little render region. You can do that from the left side of the viewport. There's like a little underneath the camera icon. I think there's a little render region right there.
Oh, that's cool. And then
And
what
then
do
you
you
can
click and drag?
just click and drag. Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
the yeah. So the some of the stuff that's different for Houdini 21 is there's actually a live render now. So that would be kind of what you were hoping for just a second ago there, where you could keep your viewport up and then you would
Yeah.
drop a live render down and then you could have a render gallery somewhere viewing it and seeing the render come out. So just a different pane. That's just a 2D view that would just update when you update your scene and stuff like that. So and then if you want to clear it, it's up at the top. There's a little button right there that says
Okay,
clear
I see.
render
Yeah.
region. Yep.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
all different workflows, and obviously there's stuff to work on for all these things. So it's a work in progress. But I'm also not the rendering guy here, so we've got two people that are kind of banging some rocks together and hoping it works here. Apparently,
Oh, I
but
mean,
at least it's
is there
two of
another
us
way
and
of
not
doing?
just one like usual. So.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking if you've tried Modeler for Houdini at all, the plugin Modeler.
I haven't. I have heard the tool set is good, but I've heard it also changes often, and the developer changes shortcuts and layouts and stuff, so it can get a little bit frustrating keeping up with it.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I am very conscious about is the fact that some studios don't have paid plugins. So, like for a lot of studio projects, I only use the free version of Mops because studios generally have that. Um,
Yeah.
but Model is not free, and so if you use those nodes, then that whole network breaks because you're using like that
Right.
version of Extrude or Polybevel, and then it becomes
Yeah.
pretty
Makes
frustrating
sense.
having to cache out stuff.
Yeah, you have to be smart about it and not, you need to know where you're kind of handing these things off to, right? So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I guess if you were working siloed on your own, you could do that, but obviously once you introduce other people into that, causes some yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really do a lot of modeling anymore. I used to,
Yeah.
and if I did, I would probably just go full time into Blender or go CAD modeling if it's that kind of hard surface type stuff.
That's
Because
what
I think
somebody else
Blender's
said.
just
Somebody else said
yeah,
Blender's their modeler for Houdini.
yeah. I mean, to me, it just totally makes sense. Blender's really good at it. It's free,
Mhm.
so why
Yeah.
wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think even the developers can be quite can understand that people don't love modeling, like hard surface modeling in Houdini. There's procedural modeling's great, but hard surface
Yeah.
stuff is can be a little scary.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still cool, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna win any awards when it comes to speed.
Hmm.
Just because, yeah, it's, trying to keep things procedural and have speed is not
Yeah,
gonna be fun.
can be tough sometimes. Sure. Tom says he did modeling in Houdini a couple days ago and he cried. So
uh,
Tom, Tom, you made it into the keynote, man. You were waving in cops. That was pretty cool. I liked that. So why are you modeling, man? You've already made it.
yeah, man.
So what are we doing here? We're adding some colors and things like that to
This is my creative process. Is I drop stuff, I move stuff around now, and I see when something hits, and then I'm
see what
like, oh, I like
happens.
that. Yeah.
Nice.
So I am literally playing. So if anyone has any questions or anything more productive for me to do, please feel free.
Yeah,
But
please. Any questions? We're happy
until then,
to chat about.
I'm gonna be playing here. So
Yeah, play away. Go for it. It's interesting for me. I always struggle because I'm a lot more technical than creative personally. And so I always struggle because I'm like trying to do these like technical things and I don't just let myself like explore and have this like kind of session of like, oh, let me do this and mess around with this. I struggle when I get to that more creative side of things. So
yeah, I guess you just gotta force yourself sometimes to
yeah.
do that.
Also, a lot of times when I'm doing this stuff now, I'm live in front of people, so I'm also like talking and like trying to do a million things at the same time. So it's the mental
Yeah.
bandwidth is a little on the low side sometimes. But um, so for that final render that you did there, you obviously had your textures piped in. You had your you had the color set up. You had the bump and textures and stuff like that to kind of drive the look of the actual cloth. Did you have anything else in there? Did you have any like roughness maps or anything like that driving things in Redshift?
I didn't. So roughness, I had basically one of the fonts, but everything else was pretty much rough, and then the font was like very slightly not.
Okay.
And yeah, then I
Yeah, it
had
doesn't look
color,
like you have a
and
ton
then
of stuff wired in.
I
Huh.
literally just played a lot with displacement and then
Cool.
color.
That's really
So that's
impressive.
why
I mean,
now sorry, go for it.
no. I was just gonna say I'm not a huge like I said I'm not like a huge material builder. Like I understand some of the technical side of it, but like I would think that a shader like that you had on that cloth would take way more like different channels and messing with all sorts of weird things in there to make it look the way it did. It looked really nice. So yeah, that's interesting to kind of see that side of it.
Yeah, I think what is a normal ramp in cops? Like a black and white ramp. I guess it's this, right?
Yeah, that's a
It's
mono to RGB. Oh gosh,
what's
this
a
is
mono to mono?
um
Ramp mono. Okay, it is a ramp mono. No, but this is I don't want a spline ramp. I want a color ramp. Is
yeah,
this a
so
color
if
ramp?
so you want it to be you would want to go mono to RGB, but you want to drive yeah, mono to RGB would be a ramp where you take a black and white and turn it into a color.
I want to take this and I want to crush the values.
Oh
So I
yeah, that
guess
would probably be like a clamp.
I guess I could just use this.
Yeah, yeah, you could just do that and just use it to crush the values. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't look right though. that's that's breaking something. Oh, that's cool, but no, that's wrong.
Oh right, this is just
Remap,
that's just yeah, you want to
remix.
mono yeah, remap, there you go.
I mean, it looks exactly the same. What's up with that?
Yeah. I, I have some problems myself with the naming of Copernicus nodes. I never know what they're called. So
I'm
I
not
feel your
surprised.
pain. Usually Tom's in the chat yelling at me if I'm doing something in Copernicus, basically like, no, you're using the wrong node, do this, do that. Sorry, if you would have asked me if I knew anything about Copernicus, I would have said a resounding no. I do not know anything about. I know conceptually how it works, but the nodes themselves, not a specialist. Everyone's liking Stefan yelling at you, so that's everyone's highlight so far.
That's my daily life with Stefan.
I'm a professional lurker in a lot of different different Discord servers out there, so I definitely have seen some of the back and forth, and it is very entertaining. So I like it.
I do appreciate him though. He's very patient with my silly questions.
Oh, this is looking cool. I like that. Very nice.
Yeah.
A little bit more
The yellow.
geometric, and yeah, I don't know. It just looks like the color scheme. I also am a sucker for blue and gold, so that's just always something I like.
Yeah, I'm big into blues. I find it much easier to make blue stuff look good in renders than other colors.
I
Oh,
9 times out of 10, I come back to like blue colors, and I'm like, shoot, I always choose blue and everything. I
yeah,
mean,
I try often not to, and I end up back with blue.
yep. Why is that? That's so weird. That's so weird. I actually intentionally went. I mean, it's technically sort of a blue color and technically sort of a gold color for my logo for the stream, but you know what are you gonna do? It's I tried to push it a little bit into like greenish, orangish tints, so I don't know. Hopefully, it's different enough. Um, Somebody was asking earlier actually about to link COPS textures into Redshift materials, and yes, it's through the op linking. That's how you would do it.
Yeah, I think it's
Someone
the
says they
same
have.
as comma.
Yeah, it should be, and that should kind of convert it over. One of the interesting things with USD when you're using Copernicus is that it needs to, when you go to write it out as like if you go to write it out as like a USD file, it'll actually write out. I think it'll write out EXRs for you for those, because it needs, like, especially if you're rendering it through like Husk or something like that, it needs a way to have those as images. It doesn't, USD doesn't know anything about those. So I think it'll actually write those to EXRs if I'm not mistaken, but I'm sure Tom will correct me if I'm just spitting out nonsense. So why did you have so many different UVs on this? Is there a reason for that? Just to be able to do different textures in different spaces, or?
Yeah, so I can just jump back into the scene view, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke Van, he has a Patreon, and he did this Patreon tutorial where he spoke about, I guess it's like sliding UVs. I don't know what it is. So, and that's how I got this kind of like sliding text where I had like the font sliding. I think I have it here.
Oh,
Like, yeah, so I'm
yeah.
grabbing, this is the cups. All this is a font. It just says subscribe. But then I'm using this tutorial. If I pop it in over here to, why is that one sliding? Oh, I need a different texture. That's why. Yeah. So then you can have this kind of like
Cool.
slidey, glitchy type thing.
Oh, that's really neat.
And and then I just started playing with like different sizes and scales. So I just, in Redshift, I was just scaling these, or just layering these. So one was on UV2, and then I also had UV3, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's how I had like different colors. So I was then just stacking it based on UVs. Originally, I wanted to do this all in COPS, but I couldn't figure out a way in the tile node to kind of stick a pattern and then slide it around.
Mm-hmm.
I did try quite a lot, and because I essentially had this, and what I was trying to do was like here when I was kind of going through these was to have like something stuck to this block, and then as it changed or moved, like that piece would move and not just kind of switch. Now I'm just multiplying and switching them on and off essentially, but I couldn't figure that out. So then I did it in the UVs, and then I just took this font, and that's what I'm
And
using
it slides
in the
around.
UVs. Yeah, and then it
Interesting.
just slides around, and
Cool.
yeah, I like the look. I thought it was kind of cool. And then the byproduct of attribute transferring this UV onto here, I think this is called UV2, is that you get these streaks because
Yeah.
this is just the disk. And I really like that. Like, it was so cool when it moves around, because then you get these like long, I don't know, these long tails, which I
Yeah.
thought was kind of fun. Like a cool
I was
graphical
wondering how
thing.
you were doing that. That makes sense. Just streaking
Yeah,
UVs. Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to do it outside of the accident that happened of I transferred a smaller grid onto this, and it worked. And I was like, I like that. I'm gonna go with that. So I kept it,
Yeah.
and it was cool.
So Graham in the chat is just saying you can also hack the pattern cop to slide UVs. So that's kind of cool. So that's another.
Ooh, okay, hold on. I've got to check that out quick.
Yeah, no worries.
The tile pattern. Okay, so this is different. No, wait. Is that not what I'm using in here? Yeah, tile pattern. That's
Oh, okay.
like my whole system is built on this tile pattern over here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just have like these keyframe the seed, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have the varying set to 1, so then it's randomly, and then I'm taking other random noises and I'm just multiplying them onto the blocks. But maybe you can slide the no, that's the position. I would have to slide I don't even know what the inside value. This is the stuff that I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Look at that.
Yeah,
Some
that is fun.
80s graphic.
uh go inside. So double click inside of it. He's saying there's stuff
Oh
inside of
yeah,
it that you
see,
can.
yeah, this is the kind of stuff that like maybe Tom could set up for me, but there's no ways
Yeah,
because I
Graham is a longtime Houdini user, so he's a
yeah,
little
okay.
more experienced than you are. He just gets in there and does crazy stuff.
Because I actually tried to build it with the stem points, because I know this is all based around the stem point node, and I was like, okay, well maybe I need to build it myself, and that ended very quickly. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So let me give up.
Well,
uh,
there's also I think there's a new like scatter node too that's going to be in 21 as well. So that kind of I wonder if that I don't know would be something interesting to play around with in this kind of realm as well, because that seems like a little bit more of like these standard grid type scattering
mhm,
setups.
mhm.
So that would maybe I wonder if that would have some useful features as well. I'm not a Copernicus guy, but Graham is, so I guess you got to hit up Graham for some
I
help.
know it sounds like we know who's on your stream next week, Graham.
Yeah,
We're
Graham
doing a
doing
deep
cops.
dive. I am on board. I mean, it's super hard to know, like when you. I mean, there's actually quite a few like super good node tutorials out there. Nicola's done one, and Moeen's done one,
Mhm.
where there's just like a lot of coverage, but it's also a lot to, like you said, to try and remember all the different nodes and what does what when you just kind of playing and trying to make stuff. So it is fun though.
So I'm getting a lot of people. I'm trying to understand what these things are even saying to me, but let's see. The pattern has an ID and UV output. UV transform has a seed input. That's how you'd make random UV tiles. So that's
Yeah,
apparently
sure.
what that means something to someone, but not to me. I'd have to look at it and understand what he's saying. Oh man. Um. So yeah. Paul, I mean, I don't want to just keep you here forever playing around in 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 Copernicus and stuff like that. Obviously, this is fun and I'm enjoying it. But anything else that people have in the chat that they'd like for us to play around with or chat about? Anything else that we could kind of, I don't know, talk about and maybe give some insight into. We're happy to do that while Paul is here, and hopefully you didn't have too bad of an experience with Karma, even though it crashed on you when you tried to do the 2 viewport thing. But hopefully it was an okay experience.
Yeah, it's been good so far. The question: if I want to run this in displacement, is there like a displacement node that has to run before I pop this black and
no,
white
that
text
should
in
just
there?
be able to just go right into displacement. So I would you could just
Okay.
run that into displacement.
We're going for it. We're going wild.
I mean, the displacement might be very large, so you might want to scale it down, but we'll see. Yeah, probably scale that down a little.
Explosion.
Because that's I think in the dice, like the first step here when it's initializing.
So let's turn off this bump. Kieran wants to know where my Transformers rig is. Man, if only.
I don't know what that means. What's what Transformers rig?
If you look behind me over there, I have it's actually a puzzle of the old school
Oh, okay.
Transformers.
Yeah.
And then I posted to Kieran a while ago where someone, I think it was in Maya, had like rigged up a car transforming into the Transformer mat, and he had procedurally done it. And I was like, oh, I want to do that. Why does no one hire me to do that? But so
that sounds like a lot. Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha. Messing with the dicing might be.
Where is that? I don't even know.
I want to say it might be in. I want to say it's in the advanced, I think, or it's in geometry and shading. There's dicing. Yep, dicing.
Okay, so how does this work? What is off-screen quality and dicing quality scale?
That is a question that I have not gotten to yet. So your guess is as good as mine right now. I'm doing basics for Karma right now. That's what my current learning is. So, somebody's asking. There's a Material X bump node as well.
What happens if I hit 2?
When do you use that over normal or displacement? I think it kind of just depends on just what kind of look you're going for, right? Because like a normal displacement is going to look a little bit different. It's going to allow you to get away from, just being this kind of like sort of fake, just shading thing. It gives you a little bit more geometric look to your bump, and then obviously displacement is true, and it's going to actually move the rendered kind of surface around a little bit. So, yeah. So if that's what your question is, it kind of depends on how specific you want to get with the quality of these different looks and things like that. So
if you use this, you would go from your black and white texture into here, and the bump would go into.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, I'm forgetting that's another node. I was thinking. But yeah, I think so. I think that would be how that would work. You'd put your height into there and then plug that into the normal, I think, as well. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of things in here. It's hard for me to keep track of them all, unfortunately. So, but yeah, I think bump goes into normal. Yeah. Yeah. So Zach was just.
Sorry, go for it, Peter.
No, it's okay. I was just saying Zach was just mentioning that bump won't change the silhouette of your mesh displacement will. So, sorry, what were you saying, Paul?
Like, does depth of field, is it on like automatically?
Yes, it would be on by default.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, interesting.
So if your camera had, you can turn that off in there if you wanted to. Yeah, you can disable it.
Over here. I just didn't realize it was on until now. And I was like, oh, that's why it's like blurry. It's
Yeah,
not the.
yep.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's
And
better with
motion
it
blur
on.
is on by default as well. But yeah, so it only will turn on motion blur obviously if it has time samples to use, and that's kind of goes back to what I had talked about before. So you can actually kind of hack that by adding a motion blur lop after the Karma render settings, and that will help with that as well. So
After the render settings, you would add
yep,
a.
you would add a motion blur lop after that. Yep.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And does it take in like your velocity, like your point velocity? Is that what it's
If you
using?
have point velocity, that should render. I think or you could turn that on and use that. You can see there's a velocity blur, and right now it says no velocity blur. But
Mhm.
but then
Oh, I see.
so you can turn that on and off. But also what you could do then is you could just use it based on how the mesh is changing over time, right? Like as long as the point count is staying the same, you could do like a deformation blur, right? And that would be calculated over time, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
you would use the motion blur lop to kind of give you those time samples across your scene, so it knows where things are going frame to frame.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's just little things like that, and that's really more of a USD thing than a Karma thing. That's just a little bit of a different way of going about it. And so now you're trying to change your camera, right?
Yeah, I just want to. Not this. I guess it's the f-stop. Is this
Yeah,
what
you
it
want to
would
change
be?
the depth of it. So what you want to do is you need to put your camera primitive up there so that it knows where what camera you want to change.
Oh,
So you can control click on that little arrow there if you wanted to. That's kind of an easy way to do it. That'll bring up your hierarchy, and you can just
cool.
grab the camera, hit OK.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
now that's
That's
selected camera 2.
okay. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Go back.
Yeah, so focus
Undo.
distance would obviously be your focus ring on
Yeah.
your camera.
Do nothing. Okay. Oh, okay.
So you're trying to make it sharper across the whole thing, or just lower the amount
Yeah,
of
just
blur.
slightly less blur in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's looking cool.
Yeah, looking nice. Very nice. The other thing somebody had mentioned before too is that in Solaris you can do the snapshot setup, which is there's like a little snapshot over to the very far bottom left of the scene view pane. There's like a little film icon there. It's the bottom one there, and you can actually, yep, snapshot. And so what you can do then is you can click on that, and that'll bring up your snapshot bar. And if you click snapshot, not only will that save your render, but it'll actually save the current state of your network as well.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So it'll save your render, save your network. You can also do background renders and things like that from here if you wanted to. This is also where your not there, but the render gallery is kind of linked to this. And you could, that's where you would see those live. You could, that we were talking about from H21 when that comes out. Cool. Oh. Did we lose you? What happened here? Somebody said F. Did we lose you, Paul? Yep, we lost Paul. Shoot.
I think I'm back.
You're back. Yay. Awesome. Oh, it was only twice.
Every now and then I just have to reset. I need like a little button here, like reset audio.
What is it happening? How do you reset it? I don't even know what you did.
I literally have to unplug my audio interface and plug it back in, and then it like
Oh, okay.
resets.
Got it.
I don't know why it does this. Sometimes when I'm
Oh,
like recording, it's super frustrating. I'll be recording a tutorial and I'll get to the end of like an hour tutorial, and then I'm like editing it, and then like halfway through my
oh,
audio's gone like, and I have no idea. Like I don't hear it.
yeah.
So
Because you're hearing yourself, right? So
yeah, I'm just talking.
I'm in the same boat. So what are you gonna do?
Okay, so if I want to render this frame, I just
Mm-hmm.
do a render to
Yeah, you
mplay.
can render to mplay. You can render to disk. Yep. Yep. Mplay is obviously you can see it, so it's actually
Yeah,
labs
better.
reset Paul port. A USB port reset. Yeah.
Yeah,
Be interesting.
I need to RFE that in. Sorry, can I
Yeah.
have a personalized reset button?
Talk to Mai and the labs guys and see if they can put that in for you.
Custom.
Yeah. So one of the interesting things too that happens in Karma or within Solaris in general is that if you're using anything like procedurals, you've probably heard about. Oh no, we lost you again. Oh no. So Fractaler, it looks like you have a question while Paul is unplugging his interface. So Fractaler, you're saying, can I render to mplay and save to disk at the same time? I wouldn't do that because like that's running two versions of whatever render engine you're doing. So I would not do that. That seems like a really really bad idea. Um, so no, I wouldn't do that unless you want to render everything in half speed. Yeah, his CPU is crunching on audio channels. I'm surprised. It's always my GPU that seems to be the problem, but that's interesting. It does look fun. I like that. Oh, that's interesting. I did not even know that. Look at that. Learned that new one today. So you can set a checkbox on the USD ROP to mplay monitor. That way you can have both. Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Didn't know that. There you go. We all learn new things. That's the great thing about this. Oh, Paul, sorry that your audio is gone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you again.
Karma is currently using 113% of my CPU.
That's too
So
much. That's too much.
yeah,
You'd
it's
have to
all of
set a
it.
couple. Yeah, you'd have to, and then some. You'd have to set some cores to be like on the side or whatever, so that it's not taking all of your computer.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying, don't worry though, no
Yeah.
big deal. Somebody was asking if you could render and monitor, render to disk using the thing and monitor at the same time. So that's kind of cool. There's a little checkbox in there apparently that is under monitor, and I did not even realize that. So if you go to monitor right there,
Am I missing? Where's monitor?
it's next to
Oh, there,
rendering.
monitor.
Yep. So you can do an
Mplay
mplay monitor
okay.
there, and then that'll monitor it while it's rendering to disk. So you do that.
To
But
disk.
obviously,
Oh,
don't
cool.
do that. But yeah, so that's kind of nice.
I won't do that now.
No, please don't.
Don't hit render.
Oh man, well that looks pretty fun. I like that a lot. That's neat.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah,
I think
we got it to
I
render
learned more than I taught. Yeah,
Hey,
that was
well,
the
hey,
goal.
we both did. We both have learned some new things here. So yeah, that's awesome. And it's nice to have somebody that has like real quality assets that we can play around with. So that's fantastic. I usually am using a lot of
thank you.
flip and pig heads and things like that. So this is great. Very cool.
There's nothing wrong. I have used my fair share of pig heads and random modes.
Yeah. So as we're kind of getting to the end here, I just wanted to give you a chance maybe to just talk about your Patreon a little bit, just to kind of let people know what it is that you're doing and how that works and what kind of stuff they might expect there if they're interested to get more stuff from you. So why don't you let everybody know about that?
Well, that's kind. Thank you.
Of
Yeah, I
course.
have a Patreon. I post every month. Until very recently, it's been me posting every month, just different tutorials. And I've started recently getting in some guests to talk about topics that I'm not super familiar about, like cops. 20% Vision came on and spoke about some different cops things. I learned a lot. It was super cool. Generally, it's MoGraph kind of focused. A lot of fun. I've done knitting, I've done flip, I've done vellum, a little bit of RBD. So yeah, just a bunch of everything. And then on the first of the month, I like to do the setup in Houdini, and then on the 15th of the month, I do the render portion, which can be which has always been Redshift, but hopefully going forward it'll be Karma if my
Cool.
audio works. Gonna have to record my audio separately on like a portable recording device.
So somebody said that there is there's something that you can do USD ROP output max threads to -1, and that'll keep your thread count safe. There's also, I think, an environment variable that'll set that as well, like globally for you, so you can turn down maximum threads right there. Yeah. So that's if you're using the ROP, but I think if you're in the viewport, I think there's an environment variable that can set that maybe globally for you. So I'd look at that. I think there's a way you can do that. So that's cool though. So you're looking to get into Karma a little bit more. I have to say, like, in Houdini 21, as someone who's had the privilege to be able to use that a little bit, I've found the experience to be, it's getting better every release. So, I think you'll be happy using that a little bit more if I can plug my employer there for a second. But but yeah, that's really cool that a lot of stuff sounds like that you've been doing on your Patreon. So that's cool.
Yeah, so my next month I actually have a guest speaking about Solaris and Karma, more Karma than like Solaris context.
Sure.
Yeah, it's coming soon, and it's very cool. It's very MoGraph design focused and not technical at all. Not at Just a little bit technical, but it's
Nice.
more just about like how to set stuff up, pretty much like we've done now. So that would be super fun. And I've had a couple studios reach out and say, "Hey, do you use Karma? We're using it in our pipelines." So it
Cool.
seems like it's good to start kind of getting into it and at least knowing a good amount on how to make some renders. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited for it.
Never bad to know how the free renderer in the software works, right? So yeah, and
Exactly. I think that's definitely true.
yeah, so cool. Well, Paul, I am going to I'll kick off your thing here, so your computer's not needing to be shown anymore. But seriously, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's a little bit late for you, but that was super fun. Everybody's thanking you in the stream and just saying that you can pronounce my name, Peter. Hurts when you say somebody. Kieran, sorry, Kieran.
Kieran, you're just some random stranger on the stream. No, Peter, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Honestly,
no, it was super fun.
I
Thank you for
appreciate it.
doing this, and yeah, we hope maybe we'll do it again sometime in the
Yeah,
future. Maybe not Karma rendering, but we'll do something else random and fun. But that's going to be
amazing.
it for this evening. So again, thank you, huge thanks. And yeah, to everybody out there, if you're interested in joining the Discord, there's a link on HoudiniHangout.com. You can go on there and join the Discord. And yeah, if you want to chat with Paul and things like that, I'm sure he's out in plenty of other Discords, and you'll see him commenting and doing things like that out there. So yeah, thanks again. And yeah, we'll see you all next week. We'll have another guest actually next week, and I'll announce that coming up shortly. So thanks, everybody. Talk to you all soon. Have a good one.
Bye bye.